Dibasha ko kasana di ko shurwa da dibasha de sha ko bi gimjen ka de lamna ma so dewa de bare dunga mi de bare dine enza ma so dibasha de le tene ane dunga de li go res ane gewa de le tene ma so ki dewa li go res che dine enza ta dunga mi de ba enza dunga yu kyu ane diba de sha ko go res che ro na ma so dewa ko go enza ane dewi kyu ane so gewa de chu ko res che on do su 지난 디네 자단 디바단 개와시야 되기 한다 저기 자와 가와 투거스네 자와 셈르 투거스 지난 개와된 디버시야 돼 자와 셈르 투바한자 아니 나 저기 다 셈르 투비게 김세 가르람나 나 개와 디바 가르시네 당저 그래서 대화다 동아시아의 규단 깨매 발마자 규단 깨래 되네 기워 주다 깨래 되네 가르치 워스네 동아시아의 규 안에 디발레티네 기고를 세자 디바디 마주 세미테도 요데 바치레 예사지 대화세다 규단 깨래티네 기고자 디 대화용 규디네 개화레스 개화디 가와요스는 것도 세미테도 요레스 셈도 투비 김체 아디 거시 디네 자당한 저기 제사 다 디네 인자 저기 다 세미테도 디고요 바자 디바디바 다 샤고 그래 사지 가사디 거래 양주 디 다스 디바 샤고 김체 디바시아 데 가르치리 세모 디바 유사 데 가와 요레스네 셈기텐도 요레스 디인자 나상 요즘nen 디기 마 줄야 아니 가서 대화 주야다 동아시게 탑론조 디네 셈미 셈두 돕게네 셈네 베셔 소죠 나제 아니 기디 가서레 대화다 동아세 오레세 디수마레세 가서 디고로 쉬르와다
Yesterday, in the previous two sessions, we started to look at the four outlines that are presented, and we covered the first three of these. The first one being the need to purify negativities, and in brief, this is because we all have this deep yearning for happiness. And in order to experience the lasting, stable happiness that is what we desire, we have to be freed from all forms of suffering, frustration, and misery. So this is why we need to purify. We need to purify negativities, because it's negativities, or non-virtue, that leads to suffering. Because it's and similarly, it's independence on virtue that happiness is achieved. So this was the first outline, the need to purify negativities. The second was closely linked to this, which is that the root of happiness as well as suffering is to be found within our minds. So the negativities that lead to suffering, these are to be found within our minds. So too is the virtue that leads to happiness. This too is found within our mind. So here, in the second point, it was emphasized that suffering and happiness are dependent arisings. They come about in dependence on causes and conditions. And those causes are virtue and non-virtue. Independence on negativities or non-virtue, one experiences suffering. Independence on virtue, one experiences happiness. And then we looked in the second session also at the third outline, which is the entity or the essence of negativities, what that is, as well as again where negativities are to be found. And here we saw that the essence of non-virtue is that it leads to suffering, and the essence of virtue is that it leads to happiness. So this answers the question: why is something a negativity? Or what is it about something that it makes it a negativity? And that is, it leads to suffering. And here we also looked at how Buddha Shakyamuni is an unmistaken guide, a reliable guide, a truly reliable guide, because of his having gained experience of this, unmistaken experience of this, and thereby has taught unmistaken methods and techniques for us to eliminate negativities in their entirety. And this is about transforming our mind. In brief, the method to eliminate negativities and accumulate virtue is to transform our mind, change our way of thinking. Here we looked at how the meaning of Buddhist practice or practicing the Dharma is transforming our mind. So those were the first 3 of the 4 outlines, and we covered them in the preceding 2 sessions. Now today we'll come to the 4th outline, which is how to confess and purify negativities. We look at how to confess and purify negativities. The first point, the crucial point to make, is that for this practice to be successful, it's imperative that one develops certainty that one does not want to suffer, one does not want to accumulate further negativities, the causes of suffering. This is crucial, the wish to be freed of suffering and therefore to be freed from the further accumulation of causes that lead to suffering. This is imperative here. And then, following from that first key point is the recognition that it's insufficient to be determined to no longer accumulate further non-virtues. One also needs to do something about the previously accumulated non-virtues, those that already abide on our continuum. And for this, confession is required. One confesses, one admits to what the non-virtues one has already accumulated. And for both of these, the determination to be freed of suffering, and thereby committing, firstly, not to accumulate any further non-virtue, and then its companion, the second point, of confessing what one has already performed. This comes about through the clear recognition that it's the presence of these negativities on our continuum and the potential for the further accumulation of them that will lead to our ongoing suffering, our continued circling and cyclic existence. And here we need this determination to stop this, to bring about a transformation. We can liken this to the current situation in the world regarding COVID-19. Here, here we came together, came to understand the grave danger of contracting this disease. And independence on this knowledge, on this understanding, and this understanding being not merely intellectual, but we had gained certainty, then, now is not the time to be coughing, then gaining certainty about the grave danger that contracting this disease entails, then one sought out further information as to how to prevent contraction of this disease, And with great care, one did engage in all the preventative measures, such as physically distancing from others, washing our hands regularly, and so forth. Oh. Sorry. So this is a very similar process. Through gaining information and gaining certainty of that, fear arose within us, and with us a determination to be careful not to contract this disease. Thereby further information was sought, and we followed that guidance to ensure that we do not contract this disease, because we know that contracting that disease is a cause, or the virus is a cause for great suffering, and we do not want to suffer. So this process is exactly the same.
Malabachi, member Celia, Malabachi, Beshavena, Soso Jonagua, Jezadi, Malia Nazi, Chiquation, as you said, in my yajic, Membalia, Lapquedi, Yechimacha, or Bevena, Soso Jonagua.
And so here, if someone either doesn't seek out information about this illness, or having heard about it, but is not convinced, then they are not going to seek out further medical advice in terms of what to do to prevent it. And the loss comes to oneself then, because one places oneself and others around oneself in grave danger. So therefore, there's a process here that needs to be followed in its entirety to achieve the desired result, which in this case is continued good health.
Dikpading to the Magoyaki, do Masayagalia, and then subsubject Hodiki, Chimbuche, and Dibasa Sana, Dadia, Meva Suku, Disha, Masha by Nara Sosulia Mongubana, Dunga Gamate, Dunga Yoya Chegore, Jeza, Deneza, Dibosha, Ladu, Shah Ladu, Be Masha Baja, Yashua de Labore, Shasadu. Jeza, Diba Sosuke, Shas, Diba Yobate, Hakoa, the Hamoa Dinina, Hamogo in there. Young Kanga Maya Be Shavena, the Dibo Mashavari. Jezan Shak Ladu, Be Mashabaje, Yash, Lavia de la, and Chisicore. Jezan Mansuki Nazar Jubaina, Be Shaba, member Malabaina, Be Shavena, Soso Yonagua. The member Lavana, Membigi, Menjuche, near the set up Chigua. When Dinashin dividing out to the Sas Havena, Shanda, Chigua, Chigi, Ukebach and Julia, Mashabaje, Be Shavena, the name. And Sosugi Diva Meva Suhege set up the mal of the Nangumarwa, Jezan Lobdenji didn't Meva Sumarwa, didn't social Mahobana, do not hear Gusha, which is the Diva Shah, Sidu, Diva de Bema Shabaje, Yashuatilla, Diva Shala.
We then relate that the analogy of the current pandemic to purification. So, firstly, as was mentioned previously, that crucial point is one needs to gain clarity about the sufferings of cyclic existence, this determination not to suffer any further. This leads to the second point of a recognition of what those causes are. And again, certainty, great clarity is needed of this. Then, in dependence on the successful cultivation of those first 2 points, we come to the third. Great care not to accumulate the causes that will lead to further suffering. And its companion, the fourth point, is those previously accumulated causes that will lead to suffering, previously accumulated non-virtues. These need to be confessed. They should no longer be hidden, because if they remain hidden, then they will continue to have an impact on oneself. One will continue to suffer because these still abide within oneself. So these 4 points are crucial. Understanding with great clarity the sufferings of samsara, its causes, and independence on those, then one takes great care not to accumulate further causes of suffering, and will, fourthly, confess what has previously been accumulated. And this point of confession is important. It's not sufficient just not to further accumulate causes. One has to confess and thereby purify what has previously been accumulated. And again, now to understand this, we can go back to the previous analogy. If one goes to one's doctor but sits before her and stays quiet and says, "Oh, I may be ill, maybe not, who knows, what do you think?" she's going to struggle to diagnose one accurately. One needs to be open to, before one's doctor and say, "Well, I have these symptoms, and therefore I fear that I may suffer." And if one is not open about one's symptoms, the doctor will not be able to treat one well. One is likely to suffer from the illness. And hence, here, going back to our key point here, confession is imperative. If one doesn't confess, one cannot purify previously accumulated negativities. They will remain hidden to oneself.
Never in a doos and member law, Dinashin, Nalia Dibatin, Johnson, Dibatin, Tusin, she you shall be usually sharks and Yashua, like Tiba Mabebache, Yashua de la Shark, like what is that? The names are Diba Deniki, should say Yushkora, the use of the cinema, Japsum, so Japsum side of Kureche, Chisan Tambo, Diba Shaba, Tambo, and Diba Shaba, you Japsum de, and it must Japsum de, ya Sata Kures.
In the same way that a patient will go to their doctor and express explicitly to their doctor their symptoms, and thereby will be able to receive the appropriate medication. Likewise, when one confesses, one needs an object to confess to, someone to confess to. And it's through that object, that process of confession then to someone, that one embarks in the process of purification. So the object of confession is the three jewels. So therefore one starts out by visualizing the three jewels to whom one will confess previously accumulated non-virtue. And therefore, as one is confessing to the three jewels, generating refuge towards the three jewels, the mind that it's the three jewels who can guide us to achieve actual protection from suffering, lasting protection from suffering. Refuge, the mind of refuge here, is of crucial importance.
Lobten chicken member say, Chesa member say, and Galia never did it in do Saja. The member delia, Ishishkorwa, Ishimena, and the member 7 did Data chicken and Minasambena, Sosugi, Nedi, Shaggy, Data Chagmara, near say to Marwa. Chesa member Tambo, Mantugi, Menju chicken, member say, member de la Zeama, member de la Ishitimbushkorwa. Then each by Timbu Yuba in the dinner member taking on the men to Koteva Nashin Chang to Menti and a Bishop Naja, and as a start to grow. On Dinashi, now the Tibasha you and you did a capsum sort up. Then a capsum sort of a chela that Dinigi Tibetike shot 2 years, Nuba the Sulios and Jamio Conjo Sumbotella, Yores, and then Jamio Conjo Sumbotella, Jabru, Japsuto, whatever.
Staying with the analogy of the patient going to a doctor, for the patient to go to the doctor in the first place, and certainly to speak openly before the doctor, then the patient needs to trust the doctor, and trust the doctor not in terms of confidentiality or something like that, but trust that the doctor has the capacity, the skill, the knowledge, the experience to be able to help, and to be of greatest possible help. Without this trust in the doctor, then it's unlikely the patient would even go to see her, let alone speak openly and honestly. So similarly, we need to have cultivated the mind of refuge. And this mind of refuge comes about in dependence on the two causes. One, this determination to be freed of suffering, not wanting to suffer. And secondly, knowing that the three jewels have the ability to guide us to develop protection within ourselves. And this trust needs to be wholehearted. It needs to be complete within us. It can't be a little bit wavering with a bit of doubt. We need wholehearted trust that the three jewels can provide protection from suffering. The objects of purification, the objects to which one confesses, and thereby the objects of purification are the three jewels. The Buddha jewel, which is the founder teacher of the Buddha Dharma. The Dharma jewel, which is the actual refuge. And then thirdly, the Sangha jewel, our guides, our companions.
Negi tata how cohen the nedele men ditana digi tratu presembigi and the shishing member cabach kugore. The member cabach yobaina di take image kugurua, men the mena cabainea and that's it part say to Yamaro, it's not the men kugure. That men down member cabach yobaina, delia nebalia robot chicken and neochish kugure, sumur. This sum tabaina that and never the men to have Yapoyobachi, men Yapoyobachi, Delia and New Yapoyoban, Disumbuti Sabaina, and never did try to go of Yorua. Dina Delia, men Yapoyova, the New Yapoyone, men taken Yapomena, native Takapurua, because men Taka Jishing Marwa. On Dinajin, the men taken Yapoyobachi, New Yapoyone, men the mena, young men take Mevaza, and never try to Yakapurua. Young men taken da. And the men the Yapoyoba in there, they never the robot chicken Yapoch mena, ya never the Tatuya, the Kalao Chagro, Grass and the Kala, and Pazu, Carriage Gorwa. On dinner shinda, and around Zolia, around to deeper the shower, la sha tuyala, and the cargo was in it, around to get deeper shower, and didn't shower as I kept drinking, love, didn't check did the check or as ma, doing hench cook, kept Dumbo, didn't Yapo doing, but didn't in dagger, didn't shower as a Dumbo was cook. Dene jingba tsangwa ina, ane nga zuki tipa sha tu wo ma re. Ane dene yang tuenge chiyoba na, tuenpe nyamlen je di me na, nyamlen je nga zuki jizang gyule kiye ki tipa sha tu ye ki nyuba chi me na, ane yang jiki sha tu ye me rwa. Me wa zang chue koncho se di nyomo pa, pangpe ki gokten se di nga zuki chue koncho, gokten da lamde ni go. Dini de nga zuki le kiye yondu, ane nga zuki tipa daba da tu gore, da gorwa. On da dene ki yap tuenken tipa da dene ki nyamlen che gore ma tuenke yoba che, dene gom jaya ki chue koncho di yoba ina, dele ya nga zuki nga zuki robo cheken ke tueng koncho di me na, anda nga zuki shinkakbo cha goro. Dene yenza da yap sumbo di inji minji nga bado kiye chimbo shibu cha gore, jizan sangyo koncho, yap tuenken da, yap ngoy chue koncho, dene yap tupe daro se de sumbo di, disum nane jik matsana, nga zu kowa le zhe tuya de dipa da tuya ka le kaba che gore. Disum jik matsana. Dele mawa gugure sen, mawa goya che yo marda, sum yo na jigore menpa dang, men shep dang, men dang, sum yo ba na nebigi men ne se tu gorwa. Adi na shen da, gyab tenpa po dang, gyab ngoye dang, gyab tupe daro kiryung koncho, sum chang yo na, dan jigorwa. Jizan dine yenza disum di nga pa do gugure che rwa.
To understand well the role of the three jewels, we stay with a medical analogy. The Buddha jewel is likened to a skilled physician. When we are ill, we will go to a doctor whom we know has both knowledge and experience, and therefore we have trust in them. And so the doctor then is able to both analyze us skillfully and, based on the experience, give us the correct treatment, the correct advice. And this is the similar role that the Buddha plays, the founder teacher. The Buddha is able to clearly analyze what is the causes of our suffering, as well as the solution to this, the techniques to achieve lasting, stable happiness. Then the second jewel, the Dharma jewel, this is likened to the medication that a doctor will prescribe. So a skilled doctor, she'll prescribe to us this medication at these times of day, perhaps some auxiliary treatments as well. And then independence on our trust in her. We will follow that advice perfectly because we understand that we don't want the result of not following that advice, which is to suffer further. And this is the role of the Dharma jewel. The Dharma is what we need to internalize within ourselves. The Dharma is what we practice. The minds we are, the virtuous minds, the guidance are in how to develop virtuous minds and abandon non-virtuous minds. The Sangha jewel then is likened to the other medical professionals, such as nurses and so forth. They are the ones, especially if we take this analogy into one where we have been hospitalized. The Sangha jewel are likened to the medical practitioners who are by our bedside, who guide us, who are standing next to us at all times. We may not be aware of the doctors in the background, but we are aware of the other medical professionals who are behind our side, by our side at all times. So here the Sangha jewel are those who guide us, those who are our companions, who accompany us on our path of spiritual progression. So for our treatment to be successful, all three of these are required. We need the skilled physician, we need to follow their advice, and we need companions, we need the medical professionals. If any of these are missing, we will not heal. Similarly, if we don't turn towards Buddhas, our advice, our spiritual training will be, our spiritual guidance will be flawed. Similarly, if we don't practice the advice that we're given, we will not heal. And thirdly, if we don't rely on our companions, on our spiritual guides, then we will not be successful in our endeavors to cultivate the Dharma within us. So all three are required. All three jewels are required in order to heal from the sufferings of samsara and attain liberation. And more than these three are not required. Just like in the medical analogy, one needs skilled doctors, one needs skilled medical professionals of other types, such as nurses and others, and one needs correct medication. So too here. We require the founder teacher, the Buddhas, who will identify the causes of our suffering, as well as the causes of happiness, and guide us, or present to us how to be freed from suffering and attain lasting happiness. Then we require the Dharma jewel. This is the actual refuge. So the Buddha jewel is the founder in that the Buddhas teach the Buddha Dharma. The Dharma jewel is the actual refuge, because the Dharma jewel are the true paths and true cessations that we will cultivate within us through following the advice of the Buddha Dharma. And it's this cultivation of true paths and true cessations within us that is our actual protection from suffering. So when it's said that the the Dharma jewel is the actual refuge, this is referring to the realizations that we will cultivate within ourselves. And it's those realizations which are our protection from suffering. So therefore, when we turn for refuge, we're turning towards the three jewels for protection from suffering. What it explicitly means is that we are turning to the Buddha for teachings, the Sangha jewel to be our companions and to guide us, and the Dharma jewel to arise within us. So therefore, the three jewels are the actual refuge, the Dharma jewel, is internal, and this is where we're turning for protection to the cultivation of the Dharma within us. And then lastly, the Sangha jewel. These are who guide us, our companions, who are accompanying us on our path of spiritual progression, on our journey of spiritual progression. And therefore, independent on these three jewels, enlightenment will be achieved. And more than these three are not required. The Buddha jewel, the founder teacher, the Dharma jewel, the actual refuge, as well as the Sangha jewel are companions.
That you sumde San Yokonjo, Chokonjo, Kilingojo Sumde, that Dele Yang to Japsu Tribi, Jamdro Sigura, Jamdro Sadi, that Jamdro Sadi, Ganishi Lagore Lamna, Tangazo, Manzugi, that Tipatiki, Jamne Konjo Sumbo Digi, Shagri, Delatin Sha Tukre, some Ichi, Shagri, some Ichi, Tenten Shagri, some Ichi Samadi, Penetangazugi, Konjo, Jamne Konjo Sumbo, Delatin, Koala Tatukre, Dungali Jogre, Sempigi. Yung tubres mi yichebe sem dingne yichebe yichi dela ane lo dingi yichebe yichi de dang kewe lo dela ane jamro la gorda.
For returning to the three jewels, the actual mind of refuge requires the component of wholehearted trust and conviction that the three jewels do provide suffering. This is the unmistaken technique to gain freedom from suffering. This trust, this conviction, needs to be sincere and wholehearted, free from any doubt. In other words, that whenever we have fear, whenever we fear sufferings and difficulties and problems, we know it's turning to the three jewels that is our solution. And it's only the three jewels that are the true solution. This trust is imperative for the Buddha Dharma to be cultivated within us effectively. And so here in the context of confession, we need wholehearted trust that it's through this process of confessing to the three jewels that we will overcome, we will be able to purify previously accumulated negativities.
dan sik phaibaro shuwe na dirba dang ngi digba dang ane dunga yoye go yudiba de kebne konjo sum digi meba sögre sambe samlo do meba ende sögre sum ichi dirba da 제자다 ngazugi nga khowale ke mo khoya da dunga nyo mo de kebne konjo sum digi jigri sambe ende jigri sum ichi dingi ichi ke de da jamro de se gore.
So to express this in a general manner, when one turns towards the three jewels, one needs to have these two components. Firstly, there's determination. I do not want to suffer anymore. I do not want to fall into the suffering lower realms or remain in cyclic existence for a moment longer. I do not want any more pain or misery in my life. And accompanying this, that's the first. And the second is I have complete conviction that through relying on the three jewels, I can completely eliminate even the slightest trace of all negativities. So these two components, the strong determination to be freed of suffering, as well as the conviction that it's through relying on the three jewels that one can eliminate all negativities.
디바디 접ne konjo sung meba sögri sambe ichi chile ndo ta dinalo ya ane ichi dela ta dinalo pa yewa she na sumungure kan sungure sana ichi dangbo de kar je gorosna ta nge diba meba söge tablamdi temba sangye jomnen digi manore de yore se tingre sambe ichi dide manowa ta tingre sambe ichi dida ichi 직차 거래 데네기 나temba sangye jumnen digi dibo meba soyege tablam den xianbadi 안 주게 소수게 냠는 제네 최고 조사에 곡된 세야지 안네 녀모 빵배 빵바 탈바세 곡된 세는 것도 줄이 깨봐 있나 다 땡땡 디바데 다고레스 디바 메바 쇠바레스 자디 다 이시세 디 이시 찍세 이시 니바데 다 이시 숨바데 가라스나 나 내내기 냠는 진에 약고체제 니 탈비고 탈바세 곡된디 줄레 깨 토발라 안네 델레 로봇이 기능 고치기 땡땡한 로봇 지기리에서 이치들이 다 이치 숨들이 다 가져 디바 건조스미 쪼그리에서 이치에서리 이치들에 숨 나로 숨이었다 되니기 이치 숨보디 보고 그랬다 제가 니 이치 숨보들다 잠로세 거다.
So let's look a little bit more at this term trust here. So we mentioned now that going for refuge has the two components: this fear of suffering, this determination not to suffer anymore, and the second, wholehearted trust that the three jewels can provide protection. So let's look at this trust in more detail. So looking at 3 points. The first being having stable conviction that the Buddha jewel is an unmistaken guide, that the Buddha jewel is without fault, that is completely freed of any stain, and all good qualities have been developed to a state of perfection. So this is the first level of trust, or the first aspect of trust. They're not levels, but aspects of trust. And this needs to be wholehearted, that the founder Buddha is free of faults, and all good qualities are perfected, and thereby is an unmistaken guide, can be trusted. Their advice is flawless. Then the second aspect of the trust is then relating, the first was relating to the Buddha jewel, the second now to the Dharma jewel. The unmistaken, the wholehearted trust that it's through following the advice of the Buddhas, one will cultivate the minds of the Dharma within oneself and cultivate them to the point where we achieve the actual Dharma jewel on our own continuum. The actual Dharma jewel being true cessations and true paths. And it's at that point that we have the complete freedom from suffering. We will have the actual protection from suffering through the cultivation of the Dharma jewel in our own continuum. So here the second aspect of trust is in the Dharma jewel, that is through following the guidance of the Buddhas and the Buddha jewel and the Sangha jewel, that we will attain freedom from suffering. We will attain true paths and true cessations within our own continuum, and that those true cessations and paths are the Dharma jewel. So this is the second aspect of trust. And the third then is related to the Sangha jewel. Complete conviction, complete trust, wholehearted trust, that it's through relying on the guidance and the support of the Sangha jewel that one will attain liberation. So these are the three aspects of trust that are required to generate the actual mind of refuge within one's continuum.
지상에서 권조 숨라 접수 뒤에 점로 라면도 권조 숨여 가지나 상교 권조라 접수 뒤에 점로 최 권조라 접수 뒤에 점로 개된 권조라 접수 뒤에 점로서 숨리고가 권조 숨라 접수 뒤에 점로서 접수 뒤에 유디라 숨샤가선 대라 접수 뒤에 상교 권조라 접수 뒤에 점로 최 권조라 접수 뒤에 점로 개된 권조라 접수 뒤에 점로서 숨리고가 지상디 대신에 셔 숨리디래.
Hopefully now it's clear what it means to go to refuge to the three jewels. One doesn't go to them as a refuge as one entity, but there are three aspects to them: the Buddha jewel, Dharma jewel, and Sangha jewel. And one has, and the trust one has in the three jewels, one has to each of the jewels that respectively. And now, hopefully, through what has just been said, it's clear the kind of wholehearted trust that is required in all three jewels individually.
어디래? 다 되네기 건조 안주기 디버티 다 공화 동안여기 주 디버티 점녀 건조스 매바 수그래 선비 이체 대시디 이체 숨버디래 다 디점도 하시고래 땅 안주기 코르베 동안에 녀 먹어요 동안에 산이 건조스 껴그래 선비 이체 대소는 점도 하시고로 난 디점도 되네기 이체 템포지 영야라 녀라 가르고고래 랍나 땅 안주기 동안이야 코르베 동안이야 가스페네 냐와 이다 어느 지기 든조 나주게다 하다미 동화디게 삼다je 동화디게 통제 아제 동화텔레데 반타데 탑은 동화텔레데 탈고도 샘비기 델레 탈도게 삼바 슈치모 고고래 다 동화텔레 탈고도 샘비 삼바 슈치모 레어도 안다 동화디 메바스야기 탑시도 술요레스 메바스도 누베도 술요레스 삼로디 젤리고 거라슈기 동화텔 탈고도 삼요도 다 동화디 매바 쇠게 탑시도 수제 투브리에서도 다 점녀 건조숨라 누바디 두세데 건조숨라 누바 두 스타디 가서네 dunga meba suye ge tablon de koncho sanyo koncho la du denegi ane meba suye de che koncho la du dene ro je ge nyuba de gedung koncho la du jesa dene sa dunga le kyobi nyuba de diba daya ge diba meba suye ge nyuba de sulu du koncho sumna du sibi di samlo ni di 이신 대바 이신이디 고고래 제가 디니디 이신이디 레바 있나 안디 젤이야 당연히 동아 타다 껴비 뉴바 건조스면 껴그래서 미치데 리고래 제가 건조스면 데니게 통위 뉴바 요래서 미치디 메라나 건조스면 껴그래서 미치리 말와 데는 동아래 타도게 빼 동아들 타고도 셈베 삼로지 메나 동아래 타야게 탑라 가려여서 삼레 리고 말와 제가 디니 인상 먼저 겸로 끼야라 겸로 야고 줘야라 당보 동아의 삼다 동아 삼다 다 동아를 타고도 마타나 탑민우 선비 동아를 타도게 삼바 죽지 마시고 그래서 다 동아 타도게 삼바 죽지 마 예데 다 동아를 좀 뉴베 겹한 뉴베도 술도 쓰네 다 두스제요데 다 겹냐 건조 숨버들 두스는 통외게 뉴바 통두 선비다 되니기 20에 뉴 20로 니디 고래서 제산 데니 여바 있나 데니 건조som나 겹소도 겸로들 레투레스 제산 겸로 야고 레투레스 데니 야고 메나 아니 겸로디야 야고라지 누바 침바 레투고 말해 데니 삼로 유니 메나 겸로 리야 가고 지고래
For one's mind of refuge to be complete, to be an actual mind of refuge, then these various components that have been mentioned need to be generated within oneself. And in brief, one needs this clear understanding, the certainty that the three jewels can provide protection. So here just to say then from the translator side briefly, the difficulty of the way this is expressed is it sounds like one is looking is for an external force to protect us, when the meaning of the actual refuge being the Dharma jewel is we are turning towards committing to practice and developing it in ourselves. So hold that in mind because it doesn't always come across in the translation. Okay, now back to what Kenla said. So here, to generate an actual mind of refuge, which is the foundation upon which all successful practice is built, then one has to firstly give rise to a strong wish for freedom of suffering. And to the extent of that, the strength of the wish to be freed of suffering, one's refuge will be stronger. So this is an imperative first step. One needs to develop a strong determination, firstly an understanding of sufferings, both the coarse but especially the subtler, giving rise to the wish of, I do not want to suffer anymore, I don't want to experience any further pain and misery, especially when one understands in the context of this cyclic existence that this suffering is perpetuated. One's desire to be freed of being bound in samsara will be ever stronger. So this is the first key point of the two of going for refuge, the determination to be freed of suffering. And in dependence on the strength of that determination will come about the strength of one's refuge. And the reason for this is, when one has developed a determination to be freed of suffering, naturally one's mind will go to, how can I become freed of this suffering? Who can guide me? Who can provide protection from suffering? And that is where we come to the second key component of the mind of refuge, which is, who has the ability to provide protection from suffering? It is the three jewels. It is the three jewels. It is the founder teacher, the Buddha jewel, who has realized all good qualities to the level of perfection and eliminated all faults completely, and thereby is able to guide one unmistakably based on his experience, his faultless experience. And thereby we give rise to the first aspect of trust, the stable conviction in the Buddha jewel. Secondly, what the Buddha has taught, the Dharma jewel. This too will provide me with the actual protection. The Buddha jewel being the actual refuge is where my actual protection is found through the cultivation of the Buddha jewel within me, the true paths and true cessations. This is the second aspect of trust, that the Buddha jewel can provide us with protection. And then thirdly, the Sangha jewel, it's through relying on them that these who are my companions, my guides, who are leading me who are directly leading me to liberation. It's through relying on them that I will be able to cultivate the Dharma jewel within me. Here too we need unwavering trust within them. So this then is how we cultivate the second aspect, that of trust in the three jewels, that they can provide protection. And this comes about in dependence on generating a determination to no longer suffer. And to the extent that both of these are developed within us, to that extent we will have actual refuge within us. The weaker our determination to be freed of suffering, the weaker our trust is that the three jewels can provide protection, the weaker our refuge will be. Conversely, the stronger our determination to be freed from suffering, and the stronger our conviction that the three jewels provide the complete and unmistaken method, the stronger our refuge will be, and therefore our stronger our application will be to transform our minds through relying on the Dharma.
Dene dele gyube nyuba konjosum no du se de ichije. Dene yobanza data konjosum ge ngi dunga tada konjosum gyogure sembege ichitembu shadige de da jamro gyuda jamro gedere. Da dene zanda gyogure sem ichije odu da ganis gyogure da ane konjosum nga dunga de ganis gyogure soso gyogure lamna ganis gyogure lamna da na gyoptan ganis gyogure lamna demba sangye chumnen digi 하는 아주게 동아 세비게 탑람다 냠nenche 람기 림바데네 제고를 디제네 디네 제고 개워두고 디제네 디제고서 말 남기 림바디마 떼샤바디 떼마레 제산 디니게 떼바디기 제수 장제 디게 송교 떼베 송교디 냠nen 떼샤바디 가도 야네 양도 튀어바시 디 돈달라 야네 양도 삼다주 네 델야 튀어바지 삼다주 갑라 가서 마싱바다 하모거나 디니 가서 기준권 조경 가서 로지 빼는 가서 상ye 세딩한 저기 레레버 제투야 요 말와다 매반자 안 다디 내가 차는데 좀 상ye 줌는 되게 쉬우매발 다데네 상한줄이 로지기디 마기위 신예 랍게 파베게 좀 바데니기 다데니기 파베게 는 한줄이 랍제 두 코로나 저기 가르센 파베게 거 바데 가르센네 소수기 보지 여바장이 디고 말 파베게 디고 바지 가르센 코로나 저기 녀만에 덤비고 손셰고 딜라 롭종체 냠냠요 코로나 파베 가서 람 냠는지 파베 가서 토서로 코로나 냠냠요다 제가 냠냠 토는 간줄이야 두수 제거서 로제 로데니기 냠는지 다디게 다 교란 디제 선 안데니기 나중에 상유점네도 손샤바디 나저 퇴섬 검숨 파베게든 전에 파베게든 간줄 로제 랍 데네 랍딩 가지고 퇴베된다 야네야도 삼다 데네 삼다도 곰요도 데네 가지고라 람규라게 데네 야 초람사다 졸람사도 심바게 데네 가지고라 아는 가서 파람 파벨람사디게 두시네 아는 가지고라 아는 녀모베 가서 빵베 빵바 곡된세 토요도 데네 녀모바 차상 자완에 빵사바 지성한도 코발레 파베 간사 톱소나 파베 람디 귤레게소나 람딘 귤레게 월 최권정 가서 원에디 최권정 람딘디 최권정 직원에 귤레게 살다 나 디제는 한국인 고ren rim발 투구로와 되네 토요도 최권정 귤레게 살 최권정 귤레게서 디나서 간선에 게 먹어래 되네 냐와 게 먹어 둔도 게 먹어 이달라 게 먹어 손다 타사래 아니 다 되네게 레다 녀모고 온기 아니 지당만 밀게와 할게와 요구데 레다 녀모고 온기 지날 미달할 기고 말 그시 게베나 몬남다 게위도래 밀게 신 로제야다 펜버투게 돈달라 미달할 기고를 마도 레녀모 온게 라와메바체 다다 밀게 기고 말 제가 디네에서 동안요에 코르게 동안요에 말 제가 코르게 람딘 줄레게는 코르게 동안에서 살 최고를 나가서 가서 그래 저시선바 파베 저시선바 파비 강사세 토명도 되는 코르게 동안에 봐 저 사와래 제가 코르게 동안요에 말 제가 디네에서 디 되네 가지고 동안 건조스미 동안에 겹탄데 되네 세세
order to generate actual mind of refuge within oneself, one needs to go through a particular process to establish for oneself that the three jewels do have one needs to go through a particular process first to generate an actual fear for samsara and a determination to be freed from it. One needs to then go through a particular process to generate a determination to be freed from suffering, as well as accompanying this, to come to have complete conviction that it is the three jewels who have the ability to provide protection from suffering. One needs to go through a particular process to give rise to stable, unwavering conviction in the three jewels. And that process is to receive the teachings of the Buddha. Because to have faith that the Buddha is the remarkable being that he is, the perfected being that he is, one needs to hear the reasons to establish that, which are the teachings that he gave, to come to hear them and gain conviction that these are the flawless technique. And accompanying this, one needs to have conviction that the Buddha jewel is our actual refuge, through cultivating it within us. This is our actual protection from suffering. One needs to receive teachings, hear teachings again and again, gathering knowledge, and not just mere knowledge, but gaining a deep understanding that transforms our relationship to this knowledge, that it becomes experiential, no longer just intellectual. In this way, we give rise to conviction that these are the teachings that will provide freedom. And then thirdly, through relying on the Sangha jewel, our spiritual teacher, those who we can come into contact with, and who can thereby guide us in the cultivation of the Dharma jewel within us. This also requires receiving teachings, gaining experience of the qualities of our spiritual teachers, and thereby knowing that we are being guided by the Sangha jewel. And so it's through this process of hearing many teachings on the same topics and new topics and reflecting on them that we'll come to develop conviction in the three jewels individually. Conviction in the Buddha himself, conviction that the Dharma is what will provide suffering, the Dharma alone will provide freedom from suffering, as well as that the Sangha jewel it is the Sangha jewel who are our companions, who are guiding us to liberation. And it's through going through this process of hearing and reflecting that we'll start to develop, we'll develop ever further our good qualities, and we will actually attain a path of the Buddha Dharma within us, the first of the five, the path of accumulation, and thereby gain ever greater conviction that the Buddha jewel, the Dharma jewel, the Sangha jewel can provide us with freedom from suffering, based on now our experience, which has arisen in dependence on our knowledge. And as we progress, we'll eventually attain the second of the five paths, the path of preparation, and then the third, the path of seeing, and the fourth, the path of meditation. And it's here with these two paths of seeing and meditation where we attain true paths and cessations within us, where we attain the Dharma jewel within us. And here there are many levels to true paths and true cessations, but it's here that we achieve freedom from uncontrolled rebirth in samsara. An Arya Bodhisattva will never again be reborn in samsara due to the power of afflicted minds and contaminated karma. Only due to their pure karma and their prayers will they choose to be reborn amongst humans, amongst gods, so as to be able to benefit them. They will no longer be born without freedom, without control. So this is the process that we need to go through to develop actual refuge within us. Hearing teachings repeatedly over a sustained period, and whilst hearing, reflecting on these teachings repeatedly over a sustained period. It's this way that we will develop unshakable refuge, and we will eventually achieve freedom from suffering too.
제가 다 나중에 나바 상제베기 아니 권초기 영어도 동안에 호월에 교구래 동안에 교구래 세디 교탄디 다른 나시레 제가 상제기 람든 제샤바디 람든 제파 람든 야고체 될랑아 중에 장도르체 곰 퇴바체 삼바체 곰 잡체 되는 동안에 탈고야 차고래 나도 소수기 안에 지게 소수기 냠는 가야 제 먹어체 아니 상제기 마치 권초기 교구레시 동안 동아디 매바서 권초 매바서야 지다 다 권초에 가서 나서라 게 먹어자야 야 타발이야 야 티줘야 되는시요 맞다 내가 저기 낭비기 디켈린 거 말이야 되니기 낭비기 동안에 겹탄데 그랬으네 람 땡인데 상지게 만호 띵고레스 디좀바텔 소수게 냠는 저 야네 튀어바지 디 돈다가 삼다야 곰고를 곰 냠는 지 고레스 곰 냠는 지 아니 대래야 지리컬 기능 고주 로바치기레스 되네 제발에 되네 가서 동안에 탈기레스 제자 동안에 껴고레스 겹탄데 되네 마돔 저기 권초야 소소가 제모하죠 권초에 몰람게 대바치나 남상 권초야 아니 코발이야 야 되게 야 타발이야 전시가 되는 여러분은 되는 저 말이지
key point to make here is that through this process of hearing and reflecting, one will cultivate the actual mind of refuge within oneself. And through this process, one will, through gaining conviction of the three jewels, have the ability to provide, to lead us to freedom from suffering. We will attain freedom from suffering. But the key point to make here is that we need to do the work ourselves. We need to hear the teachings and reflect on them repeatedly over a sustained period. This is a crucial point, because no matter how strong one's faith is in the Buddha, despite the Buddha being a being that is perfected, a Buddha, in dependence on our mere faith, cannot bestow his realizations on us. He cannot wash away our suffering for us. This is important, because if prayer and supplication were enough, beings would be liberated by now. Prayer and supplication is important, it serves a purpose, but that alone is woefully insufficient. What is imperative is that we hear teachings, we reflect on them, meditate on them repeatedly over a sustained period in exactly the same way as has been presented here. This is how we will attain freedom ourselves. We do it in dependence on the great skill and attainment of the Buddha as well as the Sangha. We do it through following their advice perfectly. And in this way, we develop the Dharma jewel within us. But we ourselves have to do that work.
Niji toba shanla pamende chunye tenpa tempe chowa gyuru se sangyo jimna de khorangi an jisa gyurang tsuki dipa tang nyomo batike an nga tsuki chik supol ya durol ya japa yo batike ne chu che ma daya yo ras dine yanza di nashin che ne gyurang tsuki gyula nyomo batan dipa yo ki tike an nga chu che ne nga datu ya yo ma re se rwa tupna dipa chu mi chushin choyo dunga chagi mi se la se de tang nga tsuki 강바다 디와 체마 수바이나 지 추드엔제 마 지게 제당 안에 지게 지게 되네 멤버게 샤쇼시아 락비게 첨보 잡제 나서 자 수고로와 디스 투어데이네 아주길에 녀모보다 디버세디 되네게 락비게 되네 쉐시네 추드엔제 매바 쏘야다 되네 가요마 그동아 차게 메살라시 상기 차기 바 되네 제난 동아디 매바 동아당 가서 녀 동아예 균녀모바다 디바디기 매바 수트야 말레스 나는 디바다 녀모바디게 가는 수그리 람나 매바 가는 수고를 니 가서래 니도 바샬라 퍼멘테스데 니 귤라 캠비 연된 여바디 교화좀마 베네 조도되베나 아미게 칼라데지 부 칼람 칸마 칼라 루체네 부디 조자야 서네 동아데라 타투야 수야 여러와 조도 디나제 모두 마싱비 녀모바 모바마 바차디기 매바 수야디 你原点性别原点的就可能什么阿米卡拉这把那做那可能路线这些呢，人可能说没法说，可能就叫了东安没法说，但马新不梦不没法说，性别原点吃上吃的，那有人那有嘛的是，安德个有的那个这个的是，去年点把点没做就是的，你个点我是呢，南极南人人吧，当不听得起我的，南极人吧当，安德点不起内陆。点不起内陆的，点不你内陆的怕点个的是，点的结果是点有的，可能这个你点把那些就可能这个的两人节和脱把节，然后呢脱把节地段那上，点的我们家吧呢，点的可动啊了追突个，可以动啊了追突个的是，就追突个点的突个的是，上也让给的送入的。
In this context, then, I want to draw your attention to a famous quotation that the Buddha himself gave. I cannot wash away your misdeeds with water. I cannot remove the sufferings of beings with my hands. I cannot transfer my realizations to you. The only way I can help you is by teaching and you striving to liberate yourself. This is crucial, and it's not particularly surprising in the sense that this is exactly the same process that we know from our worldly experience. In order to be healed from a severe illness, one has to go to the medical practitioner. One has to go to the doctor, and one has to speak openly to the doctor, so that she can diagnose one well, and one can be given appropriate advice. And then, secondly, oneself, the patients themselves, must follow that advice well. And as parents, you also know this. If your children are hungry, merely giving them food is not going to satiate their hunger. They also have to eat it. So in both cases, whether we're talking from the perspective of a patient or a hungry child, they have to do something to alleviate their suffering. They cannot just leave it up to others to solve their problems. And it's exactly the same here. The Buddha, who has all good qualities perfected, such as love and compassion, of course, bodhicitta, are developed to the extent of perfection, and wisdom developed to the point of perfection, still though cannot alone wash away our misdeeds with water. The Buddha cannot remove our suffering with his hands, nor can the Buddha bestow his realizations upon us. What the Buddha can do, in the fourth line, the only way I can help you is by teaching, and you striving to liberate yourself. This is crucial. Hence, in every teaching, I encourage you to hear many teachings, reflect on them, and meditate on them repeatedly over a sustained period. This is the path. This is the technique that we have to follow, because this is the only way that we can attain freedom from suffering. And this is not only the only way, but it is a way that is certain. One will definitely do so through receiving unmistaken teachings and applying them in the way that is presented. Freedom will be attained. We need to learn the various stages of the paths, and not just as mere knowledge. We need to gain certainty, and the certainty is gained when one knows that this is what I will do, and one wholeheartedly applies oneself to this. Similarly, one needs to know the presentation on the Four Noble Truths, and not just merely intellectually, but know them to the point that this is where we put all our energy, that we see everything else as superficial and superfluous, and only important to the point that it can sustain our practice. But what is important is gaining ever deeper knowledge and experience of the Four Noble Truths, and thereby transforming ourselves. And this comes about through hearing and reflecting and meditating repeatedly over a sustained period.
Ni digba di gonjo sumgi meba suegre sambegi ichichike ichi tembu jeba ina denegi ichi kazi shukcheba yoba ina nga zugi dade temba sanyi chumlendigi nga zugi tablam tensheba dila di nyamlan jeyale bezu chi jeyagi dumba di shukcheba di gore dumba donyer dumba de shuchimoli gora dati jangudu danenga di jehudu sembegi 제가 다 디바 샤고다 디바 디 샤에게 되날 디바 메바 소야라 디 제후도 선배기 안 자와라 디 상유 줍는 디 되면 탑람 되셔 봐제라 제되게 되녀기 dum바도 슉쳐 보지리 거래 되녀기 dum바 슉 같이 차바 있나요 안 디점기 같이 슉쳐야나 될 자월 쬐야래 제야래야 요가 제야당 아니 배수 시지 거래 다 dum바시라 메나 충충이 말하면은 배제돼야 충충마다 제야되게 리기지만 지고 말 되네게 제야게다 dum바 균에 메나 균에 지금 말봐 제가 되는데 dum바 영향이 델레 제되게 되녀기 dum바 슉치 몰려야 돼 가리 수고 알아서는 땡땡 쪼그리 섬이 20대 뭐 슉치여도 디기다 겐제네 슉겐제네 아주 야 상유 줍는이가 람든 제시비 람들이야 냠는 제기 되녀기 dum바도 슉치 몰리고 그래서 제가 되녀기 dum바 슉치 몰려나 근데 디바 샤일야 그래서 아니 그 냠는 제데 배수치 뭐지고 배수 제뭐 제바나 아니 저기 디바데 다야기 슉셔셔 다투고 와 제가 디자 점로서야 돼 마시기 계치 못 잡고 그래 아들 쉐가래 제베네 나랑 부이 쉐 야리 저기 냠는 제데 갑라 점로데 마시기 계치 못 잡고 그래
Hopefully now what is meant by the mind of refuge is quite clear. Now I just want to talk about why it is of such crucial importance. Because the strength of our refuge directly impacts the strength that we apply to our practice. So if one finds one's practice is somewhat sporadic, when the mood takes one, then one applies oneself, but it's not exactly wholehearted. This is a reflection on the lack of strength to one's refuge. Because when one's refuge is strong, this means that one's determination to be freed from suffering is strong, and combining this, one's conviction that it's the cultivation of the Buddha Dharma within oneself that will fulfill this aspiration to be freed of pain and difficulty. And when these two are strong, this is what one will readily and wholeheartedly apply all one's effort and one's energy and ensure that, and will ensure that whatever one is doing, one's mind remains on virtue. One's mind is not going towards afflictions. One ensures one's mind is not going to the afflictions, and thereby one is always practicing the Dharma, whatever one is doing. And this is true, again, it's true in all walks of life. If one doesn't really have much of a wish to do something, if one lacks an aspiration to do something, one's not going to really bother. If one is made to do it, well, then one will do it, but to the barest, the lowest level possible, because one lacks aspiration. One lacks conviction in the importance, the need for this. But if one really wants to achieve a particular goal, one will push everything aside and strive wholeheartedly to achieve that. And it's exactly the same here. To the extent that we see within ourselves that our application to the Buddha Dharma is weak. This is a reflection that our aspiration is perhaps still on the level of mere words and not deep within us. To transform this, to turn this around, we need to cultivate refuge. And the way to cultivate refuge is to receive teachings on the Buddha Dharma, on all the topics of the Buddha Dharma, repeatedly over the same period, and whilst doing so, reflecting and meditating on them. And this then, as we start to gain greater knowledge and experience based on that knowledge, this is what leads to the conviction that, yes, the Buddha jewels, or the three jewels, can provide me with the desired protection, as well as giving us greater understanding of the sufferings of samsara and thereby the wish to be freed of this. So therefore, whatever one is practicing in the Buddha Dharma, refuge is crucial. The stronger the mind of refuge, the more we'll apply ourselves to that practice. And therefore, the stronger our purification and accumulation will be.
Dine zada jamdro de la riksu mungure, Gewo Chungi Jabro, Gewo Jingi Jamdro, Gewo Chimbi Jamdro, Sumli Gore, Da Dondala, or the Jiganzugi, Mansongi Dunga Kaso, Gewa Chima, Mansong Dunga, Tarduga Sambachike, and the Kobe Dunga Samatache, Mansong Dunga, Tarudu, Sambe Samlache. Della Trag to be new sugar the conjusum Yore Samta. Dine in Zada, Nansong Dunga de la Conjusum Jogre, Sambi Ichidi, now Gewo Chungi Jamdro Chagore. Dina Janta de Gul Samtada, Nason Dunga Zamaya, Hada, Milikeva, Dunga do, Chesan Kore Dunga de la Tau, Sambe Samlata. That Kore Dunga de la Tau, dead you be new sugar the conjusum Yore as a Ichike. Ichike Dine, Konga Kore Dunga, the conjusum Jogre, Sambi Ichidi. Give Jingi Jam Rossi. Then give Chimbi Jam Lightem. Tanzo Kowa Gag, you Kowa Dangas, Kowa Dangasong, and a Gag, you Yomo Bada. Yomo, you Basha the Jeba. Basha the Jeba, the letter to Sedan Kowa, the Tabats into the Basha Bayo, Marches, the Yenden Chazan Sayam. She's a Basha, but Yomo Basha the Jeba Bangudu, Tagudu, and Bedicunda, the letter Sambaki. That in your Bachana Jabala Tarbig, Nuba de Sulias, Conjusum Yores, the Enzangi, the Conjusum Yomo Basha, the Jebadingi, Dunga Yomo Basha, the Jebadi, Conjusum Jogres, and Michi did that, Jam the Chimbos, because I gave Chimbigi, Jambrasa Chagore.
Refuge is the basis for all practices within the Buddha Dharma, for the reasons that have just been expressed. And moreover, refuge differs depending on the aspirant of the aspiration of the practitioner. So spiritual aspirants of varying capacity will have differing refuges. So the refuge jewels remain the same, but because their goal differs, the goal they aspire to, their aspiration differs, then their refuge differs. The three jewels will be the same, but they'll be turning towards the three jewels with a differing aspiration within themselves. They'll be seeking to gain protection from something different, and thereby they will have a varying capacity. So the practitioner who has given rise to strong fear of being born in the lower realms and a determination not to be born in these realms of unimaginable suffering, will turn towards the three jewels with conviction that the three jewels have the ability to provide one with protection from such suffering. So such a practitioner of initial capacity, they will know that it's through following the founder Buddha's teachings and the guidance of the Sangha jewel that they will develop the Dharma within them, the minds of ethical restraint, as well as generosity, patience, joyous perseverance, and will make the required prayers so that they attain freedom from rebirth in the lower realms. So this is how a practitioner of initial capacity goes for refuge. A practitioner of intermediate capacity goes to refuge, the same three jewels, but their aspiration, their motivation is much more powerful. They do not only fear rebirth in the lower realms, but they fear rebirth anywhere in samsara. They have come to realize that samsara is pervaded by suffering. There's no rebirth or no state or no goal within samsara that is worthy of them striving for. They have given rise to a strong fear to be born in samsara at all and want to be completely freed of uncontrolled rebirth in samsara. And they turn towards the three jewels, knowing that through relying on the founder teacher as well as the guiding Sangha jewel, that they will be able to develop the realizations of the Dharma jewel within their continuum, because they have recognized that the cause of all our suffering in samsara are the afflicted minds with the self-grasping at its root. And they know that this is what needs to be abandoned together with its seeds in order to generate the Dharma jewel within them and attain the Arya paths and freedom from rebirth and samsara. So a practitioner of intermediate capacity goes for refuge in this way, knowing that it's through relying on the three jewels that they will develop the Dharma jewel within them. Then the practitioner of supreme capacity, they have given rise to a determination to become a Buddha for the sake of others. And their fear is to waste even a moment longer. They are so committed to becoming a Buddha as quickly as possible that they will not waste a moment longer, and thereby have the most powerful of conviction in the three jewels, that the three jewels can guide them to becoming a Buddha for the sake of others. Here, they have conviction, of course, again, in the Buddha jewel and the guiding Sangha jewel, knowing that the Dharma jewel needs to be cultivated within them. And this Dharma jewel is not only the elimination of the afflicted minds together with its seeds, but also the imprints of the afflicted minds, the stains of the afflicted minds. These need to be completely eradicated in order to attain enlightenment for the sake of others. And this is how a practitioner of supreme capacity goes for refuge.
Korwe dunga de la tar gudu dene nga korwe dunga de la tar ngaran sura susura korwe dunga la tar gudu chisan korwe dunga matan tamen de le kebe nyuba suyorasin konchosumno du sene de la yichi be yichi ya chakorwa da gebu chimbe chimbu kemrosa de japsu jogan digeda kowa dunga da dunga yu yumo basha da jeba ma bangodu de la tar gudu chisan deyan tawa de rang jibu mai ba rang na semjen chasang semjen chasang and Korea dunga 가서 녀모 바샤다 제발라 타고도 델레기비 뉴바 술로든 다게는 거 주스는 도 제산 말씀제 탐제 하는 거도 동아 타다 동아기 바샤다 제발라 기비 뉴바 거 주스는 도 제군어디 데디네 인장에 거 주스는 셈제 탐제기 돈다 게비 치도 내는 가서 겹투그리에서 셈제 탐제는 동아 타달래 동아기 바샤다 제발레 저 뉴바디 거 주스는 도 신이 이시시겐데 셈제 탐제기도 삼다데 기워 첨버자다 군어라라리고도 군어당 그런저기 빠야기 녀모바 가서 데라 가서 우리 동아들라 캡체슈가 삼 차송을 와다 삼 당다디 삼바 개체충 왕기 다 이제고 체리 초숨세 샤야 지신자 겸르들야 군롱게 삼로 개체충 왕기 내 겸르 숨 차송을 와다.
What differs for these practitioners is not the objects of refuge. They remain the same. The Buddha jewel, the Dharma jewel, the Sangha jewel, these remain the same. What differentiates these three types of practitioners is their aspiration, the goal they wish to achieve. So it's their objective which differs, not the objects of refuge. The objective of a practitioner of initial capacity is to achieve a good rebirth as a human or God, and thereby they turn towards the three jewels to cultivate the inner qualities within themselves to ensure that this is achieved. A practitioner of intermediate capacity turns towards the same three jewels, but their motivation is to gain liberation from samsara in its entirety. And thereby they turn towards the three jewels so as to, knowing that the three jewels have the ability to provide that protection, meaning it's through relying on the teachings of the founder Buddha, as well as the guidance of the Sangha jewel, that this practitioner will be able to eliminate the afflicted minds together with their seeds, and thereby gain protection from suffering, gain freedom from samsara through cultivating true paths and cessations in their continuum, the Dharma jewel. And a being who has taken that understanding and applied it to others, recognizing that all beings desire happiness, all beings desire to be completely free from pain, from misery, but they lack a guide. They need someone to help them. They need someone to guide them skillfully. Such a practitioner will commit to becoming the most perfect of guides. Firstly, an Arya Bodhisattva, and secondly, an Arya Buddha. Such a practitioner of greatest capacity, will strive for the sake of others to abandon the afflicted mind together with their seeds and their stains in order to become a Buddha. and thereby be the most skilled of guides for others. So what we see here is what differentiates the refuge of practitioners of varying capacity is their objective or their motivation, not their objects of refuge.
교바도 술을 열어서 겸대 건조 숨바 요래 삼제 아니 가서 삼제 탐제 녀모 바샤는 제발에 겸대 건조 숨 껴버리 삼비기 이시 제야드나 내가 삼제 탐제기 된다 사지고 봐 나다 토고 고라셔서 나 삼제 탐제기 된다 사지고 봐 토고 삼제 탐제기 된게 사지고 봐 토발에 녀모 바샤의 제발 빵바디 매바 쇠디 아니 겸대 건조 숨이 매바 쇠그리 삼제 이시 제시도 셔야디 당한도 태바침에 겸로서 채고래 내내 태바침에 겸로 이네 인자데 심제 디 인장에 심제 탐지 상유고 뭐 토버시 마토기 바도 내내 겸로 셔야다 이네 인장에 심제 탐지기 되는 상유고 뭐 토버지 인세비게 삼다외네 자주 심지단 겸로다 자주 심이가 념들 내용 될 리고로 봐 이네 디 삼다디 계체 못 채고래
For ourselves, as aspirants to the paths of the Mahayana, as aspirants to become bodhisattvas, then we need to generate the appropriate refuge. So here it's this third type, the refuge of the practitioner of supreme capacity. And this is when we generate such a refuge, where our motivation is to be of greatest benefit to all beings without exception. And we have as an objective to become a Buddha for their sake. When that mind, to the extent that that mind arises within us with sincerity, to that extent, great strength, great power, great potency is given to our motivation. And here then our motivation is, we need to eradicate all our afflicted minds, because it's these that cause us to suffer and prevent our spiritual development and thereby to be of benefit to others. And we need to eradicate them together with their seeds and the stains, their imprints, completely. And the three jewels have the ability to guide us, and through the cultivation of the Dharma jewel within us, to actually achieve the state of Buddhahood for the sake of others. And thereby I commit wholeheartedly to rely on the three jewels. I commit myself, all my energy, every thought, to applying the Dharma within myself, to cultivating the Dharma within myself, and striving to become a Buddha for the sake of others. And therefore, I commit to eliminating every trace of negativity, never coming under the influence of the afflicted minds, and rather accumulating all good qualities, so that I can become a perfected being, a Buddha, for the sake of others. So here, as aspirants to the Mahayana, we need to generate the Mahayana refuge, which is the cultivation of the mind of refuge, in conjunction with the mind of bodhicitta, these two together. So Mahayanas then generate refuge and bodhicitta together.
어도 샤스나 대삼신아리고도 당한저 가르치고 쓰는 당한저기 다 가르쳐버려라나 저기 디베샤발라 샤유 샤베 유 개발진지 고고레스 제산데 샤유 샤베 유 개발진디 때문에 건조 숨디 마 건조 숨샤고레스 대자사다 고레스 제산다 건조 숨나 점조 개비 유디 건조 때문에 건조 숨레 제산 접수 조상 대간스 조고서 점조 개기 규개디 규티네데레 세하다 다 점수 조사하게 접로서야 되는 시래 제산다 접수 조기 접수 조기게 다 간스 교고레스는 교탄 되는데레 세하지 안데 디고를 양아주 디리 쇼게셔야 돼 디레 되네 자다 가지고 삼노땅바이네 그디네 다 점에 군조 숨 세야디 삼나이도 다 상유 군조 접된 법보라 상유 군조 세야디 코로나 균 군세 연대 군대 되는지리 되네자 코로나 경화줄야 아니 동아세게 탑람 댄셔바들 노와 저기는 요마레 진짜 되 딱딱이 뒤도여래 선배게 이시 장마체 되네게 이시 제제 상이기 아니 구송 투수 연대 전배 토네 아니 상이기 송들이야 배 이시 제야 돼 대보시우제 야네야도 자야게 계치 못 차고래 아니 될래야 상기기 송셰비가 람된딜이야 아주 냠는 제바 있나 아주게 람된다 고텐서 땡땡 기그레스 마키야 균이요마다 기그레 셈비기 다들 봐도 냠는 제제 가상이 냠는 디제제 알이야 고텐 게마서 람된 게마서 세야데 람 냠는 넘버 다바지긴 디게라 되네 게마서 세야리 제시야요 말 제상 되네 인사 다들 봐도 근데 예 람냠는 제 코로 차상 된데 기그도 세비기 도 네서 용거마도 마게마서 세야요 말 다람 냠는 제데 야고 소소 야고 맞아봐야네 다 맞아와 용거와 제가 도스엔 제 기그리 좀 이치디 야네야도 이제 자야디 계지 뭐래 다 되네게 냠는 제발라 파베 기둥이 델양알이야 송주도 람든 제나 파베 기둥이 지그리 선배 이치디 야네야노야도 자야디 파베 있는 지그리 가스는 파베 있는 세야디 코롱 상예 좀 된디기 깔롭델이야 제수장 냠는지 소소를 냠냠유되어 냠유여 봐 제가 상예기 제수장 와서 현래 제위 삼바당 근데 잠지게 삼바 냠는지게 제가 되는자 말이야 두어 껴야려 되는 냠는지 대기는 우리 로봇 된된 지게 선비 니가 저게 삼내 안에 야도 삼다디 대점도서 디장도세 디게 전부 주차고래 제가 디디까지 디디 안저게 삼내 까지 숙체 레베네 당한 저게 녀모 빠야다 람 냠는지야 디버 마 매버 쇠야려 배수도 되니를 dum바다 근데 배수도 숙체제 두고래 제가 되니게 점도디 삼로디 숙체벌레 마도나 아니 저게 람냠는지야다 디버샤게 되니디야 숙체벌레 두고 말해 난 점도 균에 삼로라 균에 마고베나 되니게 된 디버샤다 기겨 주야게 삼로 균리고 말어 되니자 디니 쇼베텔라 디 계침벌 되니자 디양한 점도디야 장치부 마요 셈전 탐제 동화들하고도 하나 직벌처럼 셈전 탐제 동화를 교배 누가 권주숨을 디 인장이 셈전 탐제게 된다려 권주숨을 접수로 사지고 마토게 바동에 권주숨을 접수 조기 접수 줘야되게 셈전 탐제게 동화세야 되 내지기 셈비 삼로 당화에 되게 계침 차고래 디니 쇼에 가서 다시 얘기 디게 다 디니 토네 마서 차상 하는 삼내 안에 당화에 돼 지발에 이자다 결혼좀 알아서 차상 지발에 지발에서 디니게 삼 당화에 계침 차고로
We come now to the end of our time together. So to summarize what we've looked at in this session, we've spoken about that in order to purify previously accumulated negativities, not only do we need to turn away from the further accumulation, we also need to confess what has been committed in the past in order to purify. And when we confess, we need to confess to someone. And that is the three jewels. The objects of our confession are the three jewels. We mentioned what the three jewels are, what the causes are, what their distinct functions are, what the two causes of going for refuge are, and we spoke about how the three jewels actually provide protection. And then we also spoke about the differing ways one goes for refuge, independence on one's spiritual capacity. So that's what we've covered this morning, but now just to briefly mention the meditation on refuge, because it's my sincere hope that you will include this in your daily practice. I do. This is part of my meditation, and I hope that you do make it as part of yours, because it takes time to develop refuge. It comes about independence on engaging in this process. But the stronger our refuge is, the more we will apply ourselves to the Buddha Dharma, the quicker our inner transformation will be. This refuge, as being the basis for all practices, is therefore crucial. So in the meditation, one reflects on the qualities of the three jewels. Firstly, the qualities of the Buddha's body, speech, and mind, and enlightened activities. And here, one can, in brief, reflect here on that the Buddha, through having trained for so long, came to a point where all good qualities were cultivated to the degree of perfection, and all faults were completely eradicated, leaving not the slightest of traces. Thereby, through such perfected love, compassion, and exalted wisdom, the Buddha was able to present the complete and unmistaken path. Then one reflects on that complete and unmistaken path, the Dharma jewel, that it is the cultivation of this within us that is our actual refuge, our actual protection from suffering. Remembering that the word refuge can be translated as protection. So our actual refuge, our actual protection, is the cultivation of the Dharma jewel within us. Here we can recall the verse from the Buddha saying that he cannot wash away or remove our sufferings. He cannot bestow with his hands his realizations. We have to apply his teachings. All he can do is teach. We have to practice. And this here is the Dharma jewel. The reason we are not Arya beings yet is because of our limited practice thus far. But we have the opportunity to transform this now. And through transforming our practice, our application of the Dharma, we can cultivate actual true cessations and paths within us. And why we have this opportunity now to transform is because of the qualities of the Sangha jewel. Here we can reflect that we don't have the opportunity to sit before the Buddha with all his 112 marks and signs, but we do have the opportunity to be guided by our spiritual teachers. They provide unmistaken training and guidance to us because they have knowledge and experience. They have cultivated and are in the process of further cultivating the paths of the Buddha Dharma within themselves. So independent on their knowledge and their experience of that knowledge and their cultivation of these minds of love and compassion, as well as wisdom, they can perfectly guide us to cultivate the same good qualities the Sangha jewel has within them. They can perfectly guide us to develop them within us. So this is how we can meditate on refuge. And again, I encourage you to do so, because the stronger this mind within us, the more we'll purify and accumulate. And it will be the stronger basis we have for whichever other practices we engage in.
All right, I didn't know. That you give ya that nimbo kasan nimbo topshi that is how you give you the more so give you this share that then nimbo topshi kone that diva shawa then nimbo topshi and then more chair that nimbo topshi kone shatan court ma that you ma share.
Thank you. We'll conclude for here, and then in our next session we will come explicitly to the four opponent powers and start to look at those. So thank you very much.